How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another how-to video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make, for example, this car that is red and blue and blue. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, the first step is going to be opening up OpenIV and heading obviously to our mods folder. We obviously need to pull up our car that we're going to be changing the colors on. And here is our car. And all we need to do is drag in our YTD. And we need to basically extract any and all textures that are red and blue and put those into a folder. So when you export, it's very important, move my head out the way, that you put this as a PNG and not a DDS, because it's a lot easier to work with if it's a PNG. So just put it in any place you can find it, doesn't really matter. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm just going to export all of these textures. Just look for what textures you need. Obviously I know I need this one for the visor, this one for the rear deck light. If we keep looking around, we'll find that we need, looks like we might need this as well. Let's go ahead and put that in there. And we're gonna need this one. Also, a good rule of thumb is you can always search up emiss in the search browser, and you'll find most of the emissives, but keep in mind that some emissives are not named emissive. So just scroll through the YTD. You might miss one, you never know. But all you gotta do is just go back and pull out the texture again. And that's all we need to do in the YTD as of now. Another thing we need to do is we need to head into our carcels. And what we're going to do here is we're going to change basically every single light that is red to a blue corona. And obviously this works vice versa. If you want to change the lights to red, or all the lights that are blue to red, works the same way. But for example, this right here is going to be our red corona value. So we're going to copy that. We're going to do Control H. Make sure you guys have Microsoft Visual Studio. Please do not do this in Notepad. It will not work. Please do not do this in Microsoft Visual Studio. It will not work. Use what is this called? I think it's called Visual Studio. There's Microsoft Visual Studio Code, and there's Microsoft Visual Studio. They're different. This one is a lot better. So make sure you guys download this, and then when you hit Control H, it's going to give you the option to, we delete this, we can find. So this is finding our red corona value, and we're going to scroll down until we find our blue corona value, which is going to be this one right here. There's no way to figure it out. You just got to kind of know that the one with the 4 F's together is red, and the one that has the 2 F's and then the 2 F's at the end, that's blue. So all you gotta do with this software is just click this button right here, which is going to replace all, and you're gonna see at the red value that was up here before, it is now, I think it's right here, blue. But you actually can Control Z and watch that happen again. So see, it says that we have 7 values. Click that, and now we have a 0. And just to be sure, if you guys want to be, kind of weird about it, we could copy this value right here, and then do Control F, and then search that value. And as you can see, we do not have that value in our carcels, meaning we do not have any red corona values in our carcels. And again, like I said, if you were making on the lights red, you would just swap the versions and replace all the blue corona values with red corona values. Make sure if you're working on a car that has like brake light flashers that you go into OpenIV, or even ask the developer what siren is the brake light flasher and leave that red, because we're not going to be changing the brake light flashers obviously to be blue. They're brake light flashers. So that's the only thing I'd really watch out for. That's about it. But once we have done this, we can go ahead and just close this, which just saves it automatically if you have Microsoft Visual Studio, or you can just right click and save. And that's all we need to do as far as coding, which is really coding. And the rest is going to be just editing textures. So we can either use Photoshop, we can use Paint.net. I use Photoshop. I've never used Paint.net. So if you either got Photoshop or some sort of editing software, or have any skills in editing textures, that's where we're going to go next. So I will see you guys in Photoshop. All right, guys, we are in Photoshop, and I'm only going to show you guys one of these textures because there's no need to show the repeated process. If you know how to edit textures, you don't really need to even watch this. But all we're going to do simply is, take this tool, which I believe is just a selection tool or the marquee tool. And we're just going to take this and select our blue texture. We're going to right click. We're going to copy. We're going to Move it down, and Photoshop's amazing, so it's just going to lock it in place on top of it. Hide this texture, go back to our original texture, select it, and click delete. And that's literally all we're going to do. I will say this in preferences a lot. When we export these, they have to keep the same name. So when we go save, or when we go, let's see, file, export as PNG, you can see Photoshop automatically keeps the same name, but I know with Photoshop there's a way you can export it where it won't keep the same name. You need to keep the same name. Matter of fact, what you could do is just click on the texture and it will copy the name into the file name down here. And all we're gonna do is just overwrite. So when we go into OpenIV, we can just drag all these textures in and not have to not one by one individually replace them because we didn't name them correctly. So it makes efficiency a lot easier in case you're like replacing colors on a whole pack. It just saves you a lot of time, and it will save you headaches if you don't know why it's not working. So let's continue, and I will be back to you guys once I have converted all these textures into blue and blue. Alright guys, I have exported all the textures. All I need to do now is open up the YTD, and like I said, if we kept the textures name the same, all we gotta do is drag over these and click open, and we'll see it automatically change all the textures instantly, like so. We'll save it. We'll go ahead and drag this new YTD into our car folder, delete the other one, and let's go ahead and head into game. Alright guys, we are in game. Let's go ahead and spawn the vehicle and see if our work worked. And as you can see from the back, we can see our lights are working as we want. We go ahead and on this car, I gotta clean it because the tin is very dark. But if we go ahead and hit the lights, as you guys can see, our lights are now blue all the way around. And if we go ahead and make it nighttime, also the emissives on the ground should also be blue. Probably need to go to a darker area. Okay, there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. As you guys can see, we have our beautiful flashing lights. So that is how you change the colors on vehicles. Obviously, if the lights are, there's more lights on the car and there's different lights being used, you'll have more textures. And again, like I said, if you have flashing brake lights or something like that, make sure you keep those red. But besides that, that is how you make a car go from red and blue to blue and blue. Super easy task. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.